economic evolution, design, artistry, minting technology, and collector. Intrigue that stretches back more than a century. To truly understand the significance of the 1999 Lincoln penny, we must journey back to the early 20th century, to the year 1909, the centennial anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln XVI, President of the United States, and one of the most revered figures in American history. Prior to 1909, the U.S. 1-cent coin had featured a design known as the Indian head cent, which had been in circulation since 1859. But in 1909, President Theodore Roosevelt, inspired by the beauty of European coinage and driven by a desire to elevate the artistic quality of American money-commissioned sculptor Victor David Brenner, to design a new penny that would honor the legacy of Lincoln, the first real person to appear on a regular issue U.S. coin. Victor David Brenner's design featured a right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a portrait based on a photograph taken by Anthony Berger at Matthew Brady's studio in 1864. The reverse originally featured 2 ears of Durham wheat, hence the name wheat penny or wheat cent, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage and resilience. This design was used from 1909 through 1958 and established the identity of the Lincoln cent as a staple of American change and commerce. In 1959, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, the reverse design was changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, located in Washington, D.C. The Lincoln Memorial reverse, designed by Frank Gasparro, added a powerful symbolic depth, not only preserving Lincoln's image on the obverse, but also placing him figuratively within the nation's seat of power, with his statue visible between the columns of the memorial. This design would remain in use until 2008, marking an incredible half-century of numismatic consistency and cultural reverence. Fast forward to 1999, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still in use, and the penny remained the most common and widely circulated coin in the United States, but many changes had taken place in the intervening decades affecting the metal content minting. Widely circulated coin in the United States, but many changes had taken place in the intervening decades affecting the metal content minting process and cultural significance of the coin, originally minted in 95% copper. The Lincoln cent underwent a major composition change in 1982 due to rising copper prices, shifting to a predominantly zinc composition with only a thin copper coating. The 1999 Lincoln penny, therefore, is struck on a planche made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, making it distinctly different in both weight and appearance from its earlier predecessors. The year 1999 was significant not just for the United States economy, which was nearing the end of a decade-long economic expansion, but also for the mint itself, which was in the final year before embarking on the massive 50-state quarters program that would begin in 2000. Although not marked by a new design, the 1999 penny carried the culmination of decades of American monetary evolution and minting technology. It was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, as evidenced by the presence or absence of a mint mark under the date, with P mint pennies bearing no mint mark, and D mint pennies showing the letter D. What makes the 1999 Lincoln penny particularly intriguing to collectors and historians is the sheer volume of coins produced and the subtle variations and errors that arose during production. More than 5 billion 1999 Lincoln cents were struck by the Philadelphia Mint alone, and over 6 billion by the Denver Mint. But among these billions exist examples with doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planches, and other mint errors that have drawn the attention of numismatists around the world. Some of these errors, such as the 1999 wide AM coins, the 1999 wide AM is one of only 3 such varieties known, along with similar examples from 1998 and 2000, and has fetched significant premiums in the coin market depending on its condition. As we continue deeper into the story of the 1999 Lincoln penny, we begin to explore its place within the broader narrative of late 20th century. American coinage, its role in daily life, its presence in the pockets of millions of Americans, and its often overlooked artistry and technical design, the sculpted features of Lincoln's face, the sharpness of the lettering, the precision of the minting, and the intricate details of the Lincoln Memorial all tell a story of craftsmanship and continuity in an era of rapid change. In examining the minting process behind the 1999 Lincoln cent, we also delve into the technological advancements that had taken place by the end of the century, the introduction of computer-assisted engraving, laser scanning, die production, and quality control measures had significantly improved the consistency and volume of coin production. Yet even with such advancements, the human element remained ever present, and mint errors continued to slip through, offering a unique glimpse into the imperfections that make collecting so fascinating. We will now shift our focus to collector interest and market value, highlighting how coins like the 1999 Lincoln penny, despite their common appearance, can become treasures to those who understand the nuances of variety, condition, and provenance in uncirculated condition, especially in mint state grades, such as MS-65, and higher the 1999 penny holds moderate value. But when coupled with error varieties like the wide AM or double die obverse, the value can increase dramatically. For example, a 1999 wide AM in high grade can fetch hundreds of dollars and even more if certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Let us also explore the role that Lincoln pennies play in American culture, from childhood piggy banks to penny jars at gas stations, from coin rolls searched by hobbyists to symbolic gestures of good luck. The Lincoln cent is more than just currency. It is an enduring symbol of American values, thrift, honesty, leadership, and national pride. Abraham Lincoln's image serves as a constant reminder of the nation's resilience through civil war, economic turmoil, and social change, and the penny itself has become a miniature ambassador of that spirit. The legacy of the Lincoln cent would continue into the 21st century with the 2009 bicentennial anniversary of Lincoln's birth, bringing 4 new reverse designs commemorating different stages of his life, followed by the shield cent design in 2010, yet the 1999 Lincoln penny stands at a critical transition point in this long legacy, capturing the final full year before the end of a design era and the beginning of a new millennium. As we draw closer to the end of this exploration, we reflect on the humble status of the penny, and how this most modest denomination carries with it stories that span more than 100 years. The 1999 Lincoln penny is a culmination of artistry, history, innovation, economy, and patriotism, and by studying its details, its varieties, its errors, its mint marks, and its composition, we gain not just knowledge of a coin, but insight into the American story itself. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the 1999 Lincoln penny, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more detailed videos on the world of coins, rare varieties, errors, and fascinating numismatic history, where we explore the fascinating world of rare coins and their hidden histories. And today, we turn our attention to one of the most intriguing coins ever minted in the modern American era, the 1966 one-dime coin, also known as the Roosevelt dime. This coin holds more than just monetary value. It carries a story of post-war America, a tale of economic transitions, political strategy, minting policies, and collector intrigue that spans over half a century. To fully appreciate the 1966 one-dime coin, we need to understand the broader context of the time and the man whose image is imprinted on it. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the 32nd President of the United States. A towering figure during the Great Depression and World War II, his influence reshaped American policies and government structures in ways that are still felt today. When Roosevelt passed away in 1945, the United States Mint decided to honor him by placing his image on the 10-cent coin, replacing the Mercury dime, which had been in circulation since 1916. The Roosevelt dime was officially introduced on January 30th, 1946, which was also the late president's birthday. From 1946 to 1964, the Roosevelt dime was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. But starting in 1965, the United States Mint began producing dimes with a clad composition due to rising silver prices and a national coin. The Coinage Act of 1965 eliminated silver from the dime and quarter and reduced the silver content of the half-dollar. This was a major turning point in U.S. numismatics, and the 1966 one dime is one of the earliest examples of the new copper-nickel-clad coinage. The year 1966 was still under the transitional phase of this new coinage era, and it came with a number of unique challenges for the U.S. Mint. First, the Mint was facing immense pressure to meet public demand for circulating coinage after widespread hoarding of silver coins. In the early 1960s, many Americans feared the new clad coins would be less valuable, so they held on to the older silver issues. This led to serious shortages in daily commerce, and the Mint responded by removing mint marks from coins in 1965, 1966, and 1967 in an effort to discourage coin collecting and reduce hoarding. This is why the 1966 Roosevelt dime carries no mint mark, even though dimes were struck in multiple facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The lack of a mint mark makes the 1966 dime particularly fascinating because it obscures its origin and adds to the historical mystery of the coin collectors, and numismatists have long debated over the possible mintage numbers from each facility. Although the official figure for 1966 Roosevelt dime production stands at over 1.3 billion coins. The exact breakdown by mint facility is unknown, which has only fueled further speculation and interest among collectors. In terms of design, the 1966 Roosevelt dime retains the classic look that had been in place since 1946. On the obverse, we see the left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinnock, the chief engraver of the United States Mint. At the time, beneath the portrait is the word Liberty. To the left of Roosevelt's neck is the phrase "In God We Trust," and just below the neckline is the date 1966. On the reverse of the coin is the iconic design featuring a torch flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Above this design is the inscription "United States of America," and below it the denomination "one dime." With the national motto "A pluribus unum" tucked neatly between the torch and the branches, this reverse design was also created by Sinnock and has remained largely unchanged throughout the coin's history. What makes the 1966 dime especially intriguing for collectors and historians is its position in a time of great change, not just for coinage, but for the country as a whole. 1966 was the height of the Vietnam War. The civil rights movement was reaching new milestones and the space race was well underway. The American economy was shifting gears from post-war industrial growth into a new era of technological advancement. Inflation was becoming a growing concern, and the decisions made about coinage reflected deep concerns about cost stability and public trust. The 1966 Roosevelt dime thus represents more than just a change in metal. It is a symbol of American resilience and adaptation. It is a product of its time, shaped by policy decisions, economic realities, and public sentiment. Each of the more than 1 billion coins minted tells a piece of this story, from the bustling streets of 1960s cities to the quiet drawers of collectors today. There are also several interesting errors and varieties associated with the 1966 dime that continue to draw interest among collectors. Some of these include off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet errors. While most 1966 dimes were produced with relatively high-quality control standards, the sheer volume of coins means that occasional mistakes slip through, and these rare errors are now some of the most valuable and sought-after pieces on the market. In the world of numismatics, every detail matters, from the weight and composition to the design and even the historical context that surrounds a coin. The 1966 one dime is no exception. It marks a pivotal moment in the transition from precious metal coinage to modern clad coinage. and it serves as a touchstone for understanding the economic and political pressures of the time. As we continue through this video, we will take a deeper look into the minting process of the 1966 dime, including insights into the machinery used and the quality control techniques. We will also compare it with earlier silver Roosevelt dimes and explore how the metal change affected the coin's appearance, durability, and public acceptance. We will delve into notable auctions where 1966 dimes fetched high prices due to unique conditions or rare errors, and we will explore how grading affects the value and appeal of these coins, especially in the higher mint state ranges from MS-65 up to MS-68. We will also hear stories from collectors who remember when the coin was first released and the controversy it stirred among those who preferred silver to clad. We will explore how the 1966 dime is used in teaching coin identification and counterfeit detection, and how its design has influenced other world coinage and commemoratives. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a newcomer to the world of coin collecting, the 1966 one dime offers a rich and rewarding subject for study and admiration. It is a coin that bridges the gap between eras, a modest yet powerful reminder of a nation in transition, and the lasting impact of presidential legacy and public policy. The special mint sets of 1966 were produced in San Francisco and are identifiable by their strong strikes and satin finishes, although they lack mint marks. Their superior quality has made them highly desirable, especially when found in pristine condition. The SMS 1966 dimes, graded by third-party services like PCGS and NGC, have consistently commanded high prices in the upper mint state ranges, especially at MS-67 or MS-68 levels with full torch or full bands designations on the reverse. Speaking of design details, the reverse torch on the Roosevelt dime remains a focal point of grading. This area is notoriously difficult to strike fully, particularly in the clad era. A coin that shows complete horizontal lines in the torch is awarded a full bands or full torch designation, indicating superior strike quality and increasing its numismatic value even among 1966 dimes in special mint sets. Very few display this full detail, making them rare and highly prized. Turning to public perception, the clad coins of the 1960s were initially met with skepticism. Many Americans viewed the removal of silver as an erosion of value, and the lighter weight and different sound of clad coins made them feel cheap compared to their silver predecessors. Vending machines had to be recalibrated, and millions of people felt a sense of loss as silver coins disappeared from their wallets. This emotional and economic shift is a key part of the 1966 dime's identity. It was not just a coin, but a symbol of change in trust in modernity and in American values. Over the years, the 1966 Roosevelt dime has become a key piece for teaching monetary policy changes in schools, museums, and economic history courses. It illustrates how governments must balance budgetary concerns with public expectations and how materials science plays a role in national policy. Even the way the coin wears down over time has been studied to improve future coin design and composition making. The 1966 dime, both a product and a tool of research and innovation. From a historical documentation standpoint, no mint mark years like 1966 are also important for collectors building complete date sets, as they represent anomalies within the long-running Roosevelt dime series. Many collectors seek to acquire both regular circulation strikes and special mint set versions to showcase the range of quality and aesthetics available in this transitional period. In the world of error coins, the 1966 dime has also earned a reputation for producing some intriguing misstrikes. And planche flaws. Examples include clipped planches, where the coin is missing a curved segment, broad strikes, which occur when the coin is struck without a collar, resulting in a wider diameter, and off-center strikes where the image is visibly misaligned. Double die errors, though rare, have also been reported, and such coins are immediately elevated in both interest and market value. Auction records show that high-grade 1966 dimes, especially from SMS sets, can fetch hundreds and occasionally thousands of dollars, depending on condition, strike quality, and certification. Many collectors are still on the lookout for that perfect MS-68 example, with full-torch details and pristine luster, while others cherish their 1966 dime as a nostalgic reminder of childhood bus fare pocket change or family coin jars. In closing, the 1966 Roosevelt dime is more than just a 10-cent piece. It is a historical artifact, a representation of political strategy, a product of scientific innovation, and a collector's treasure. It reflects the era of Johnson's Great Society, the fear and change caused by economic uncertainty, and the Mint's bold decision to step away from precious metals. Its existence challenges us to reconsider the meaning of value, both intrinsic and symbolic, and it stands as a proud emblem of American resilience in a changing world. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Coins, where we dive deep into the rich and fascinating world of numismatics. And today we have a very special and exciting episode lined up for all coin collectors, coin enthusiasts, and history lovers as we take a long, detailed, and professional journey into the history, the significance and the value of three rare and remarkable one-dime coins from the years 1967, 1966, and 1980. And in this video, we are going to go beyond the surface and explore the economic, cultural, and minting context of each coin. We will look at the physical characteristics, mint marks, production variations, and potential errors that make these coins unique and sometimes extremely valuable, where we explore rare and valuable coins from around the world. And today we are diving deep into the rich numismatic history of the 1967 one-dime coin, also known as the 1967 Roosevelt dime. A piece that may appear common at first glance, but holds layers of historical, economic, and cultural significance that collectors and historians alike will find fascinating as we unfold this journey. We will analyze every aspect of this coin, from its creation and composition to the reasons behind its design and the context of its production. In the late 1960s, we will explore the origin of the Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, whose legacy and leadership during some of the most challenging times in American history, including the Great Depression and World War II, made him a revered figure worthy of national commemoration on the 10-cent coin. The decision to place Roosevelt on the dime was not arbitrary. It was deeply symbolic, due to his association with the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio, a disease he himself had battled throughout his life, and his appearance on the dime was both a tribute to his contributions to public health and a continuation of a numismatic tradition that honors key historical figures with nationwide recognition on currency. Fast forward to the year 1967, a period of significant change and turmoil in the United States. The country was grappling with the Vietnam War, civil rights protests, cultural revolutions, and economic challenges. And in the world of coinage, the U.S. Mint was also undergoing substantial transitions. One of the key historical contexts behind the 1967 dime was the Coinage Act of 1965. A legislative measure that drastically altered the composition of American coins. Prior to this act, dimes, quarters, and half dollars were made with a significant amount of silver. However, due to rising silver prices and widespread coin hoarding, the government opted to eliminate silver from the dime and quarter entirely starting in 1965. The 1967 dime, therefore, was struck during a transitional period where the U.S. Mint was still adjusting to the new clad coinage system, which utilized an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The result was a new generation of coins that looked similar to their silver predecessors, but had a drastically different intrinsic value. In 1967, the Roosevelt dime was minted without a mint mark. This was because the Mint had temporarily suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 through 1967 to discourage coin collecting and hoarding, utilized an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The result was a new generation of coins that looked similar to their silver predecessors but had a drastically different intrinsic value. In 1967, the Roosevelt dime was minted without a mint mark. This was because the mint had temporarily suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 through 1967 to discourage coin collecting and hoarding, which had become a serious problem following the removal of silver from circulating coins. The belief at the time was that by eliminating mint marks, collectors would be less inclined to set aside large quantities of coins, thus ensuring more remained in active circulation. As a result, all 1967 Roosevelt dimes, regardless of whether they were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, bear no mint mark, which can lead to confusion but is a key identifying feature of the coins from this specific period. The 1967 dime weighs approximately 2.27 grams, has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and a reeded edge. It features the left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse with the inscriptions, "Liberty in God We Trust." And the date 1967, the reverse side of the coin carries the torch oak branch and olive branch design, symbolizing liberty. Strength and peace with the inscription, "United States of America, 1 dime," and "E pluribus unum." Meaning out of many one, this design has remained largely unchanged since its debut in 1946, giving the Roosevelt dime series remarkable consistency in American coinage history. In terms of mintage, the 1967 Roosevelt dime had a very high production volume. Over 2.2 billion dimes were minted that year, which makes it one of the most common dates in the series, and yet its significance goes far beyond mere numbers, because the coin represents a critical moment in U.S. monetary history. When coinage policy was redefined to respond to economic realities, it also serves as a marker of mid-century design values and the enduring respect for Roosevelt's legacy. Though the 1967 Roosevelt dime is not considered rare in terms of standard circulation coins, there are still particular varieties and conditions that are highly sought after by collectors, especially coins in pristine uncirculated condition, or those graded at mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services due to the high-speed minting process and the absence of proof coins in general circulation for that year. Finding a flawless 1967 dime is challenging, making high-grade specimens valuable in the numismatic market. Speaking of proof coins, it's worth noting that while regular proof sets were not issued in 1967, the U.S. Mint did produce special mint sets, also known as SMS coins, for collectors. These sets were struck using specially prepared dies, resulting in coins with a higher level of detail and a semi-proof-like finish. The 1967 SMS dimes are distinguishable by their sharper details and satiny surfaces, and though they were not true proofs, they hold a special place in the hearts of collectors who recognize their unique aesthetic and historical value. Over the years, many collectors have also searched for error coins among the 1967 Roosevelt dimes. These can include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and other minting anomalies which can significantly increase a coin's value depending on the nature and rarity of the error. The fascination with such errors is tied to the inherent complexity of the coin minting process and how slight mechanical or human imperfections can result in unique collectibles that are prized far beyond their face value. As we continue through the historical timeline, we must understand that the late 1960s also marked a growing public interest in coin collecting, partly spurred by the widespread changes in U.S. coinage, the removal of silver, the redesign of various denominations, and the proliferation of mint sets all contributed to a numismatic boom, and the 1967 dime stands right at the center of this cultural phenomenon, representing a time when coins were no longer just tools for commerce, but artifacts of American identity and economic policy. In the modern market, the 1967 dime remains a subject of study not only among U.S. coin collectors, but also among economists, historians, and enthusiasts who appreciate the broader implications of monetary policy, changes the debates surrounding intrinsic versus face value inflation, precious metals, hoarding, and coin circulation trends all find a microcosm in the study of this humble 10-cent piece for those building complete Roosevelt dime collections or studying the evolution of U.S. coinage from the mid-20th century. The 1967 dime serves as an essential component and a gateway to deeper understanding. In conclusion, the 1967 Roosevelt dime is more than just a piece of metal. It is a representation of a nation in flux, an artifact that carries the story of political decisions, economic pressures, technological transitions, and the enduring legacy of a beloved American president. Though it may not gleam with silver, it shines with historical significance, and for collectors and historians it offers a rich narrative that continues to be explored and appreciated today. So whether you're holding one in your hand or studying it through the lens of history, the 1967 dime is a coin worth knowing and remembering. Decades, the minting process, the details of the 2007 issue, and its significance in the broader context of United States coinage, too. We must go back to 1909, when the Lincoln cent was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on regular issue American coinage, replacing the Indian head cent that had been in production since 1859. The Lincoln cent was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials originally appeared prominently on the reverse before being removed due to controversy and later restored much more subtly. The obverse features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln based on a plaque Brenner had created in the early 1900s, a design so enduring that it has remained largely unchanged on the front of the coin for over a century. While the reverse began with the wheat ears design symbolizing agricultural prosperity, it transitioned in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial design, crafted by Frank Gasparo to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial reverse remained until 2008, making the 2007 Lincoln penny one of the final coins struck with that classic reverse. The 2007 penny was minted at 3 locations: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint, with Philadelphia and Denver producing billions of circulation strikes and San Francisco striking proof coins for collectors. The Philadelphia coins bear no mint mark, while Denver coins carry the D mint mark and San Francisco proof coins bear the S mint mark. The mintage numbers are staggering. Philadelphia struck over 3.7 billion coins, Denver produced over 3.6 billion coins, and San Francisco struck over 2 million proof coins. These numbers reflect the immense scale of United States coin production and the critical role the Lincoln cent plays in everyday commerce. But sheer numbers tell only part of the story. The 2007 Lincoln penny also stands at the intersection of tradition and transition, as it represents the last stretch of the memorial reverse design before the historic 2009 redesign marking Lincoln's bicentennial, and the introduction of 4 new reverse designs depicting different phases of Lincoln's life. The 2007 issue holds importance for collectors not just for its place in the timeline, but also for the variety of finishes available, including brilliant uncirculated satin finish coins that were included in mint sets, as well as the mirror-like proof coins produced for collectors. The history of the Lincoln penny is deeply tied to American cultural and political life, spanning the era of the Civil War. To the present day, Lincoln himself remains a towering figure, representing unity, perseverance, and the fight for freedom and equality, and his enduring presence on the cent serves as a daily reminder of those ideals. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has gone through subtle changes beyond the major design shifts, including adjustments in composition, originally made from 95% copper. The cent shifted in 1943 to a zinc-coated steel during World War II due to wartime copper shortages, returning to copper in 1944, but then transitioning again in 1982 to a primarily zinc composition with only a thin copper plating. This shift was driven by rising copper prices and marked another major milestone in the coin's history. The 2007 penny is thus a copper-plated zinc coin with a diameter of 19 millimeters and a weight of 2.5 grams. The edge is plain and the obverse bears the familiar motto, "In God We Trust," along with liberty and the date, and if struck in Denver or San Francisco, the mint mark, the reverse, displays the Lincoln Memorial, flanked by the legends United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, along with the denomination 1 cent. Numismatically, the 2007 Lincoln penny does not hold high value in circulated grades due to its massive mintage but pristine examples, particularly those with exceptional eye appeal or perfect proof. Strikes can command premiums among collectors, especially when certified by major grading services. Coins with mint errors, such as doubled dies-off center strikes, broad strikes, or other notable minting anomalies, can also carry additional value and interest. Speaking of minting anomalies, the production process itself is a marvel involving large rolls of metal that are fed into blanking presses where coin blanks are punched out, followed by annealing, washing, and drying before being struck by dies under immense pressure. The precision and speed of modern minting machinery allow for the creation of billions of coins per year. Yet despite this advanced technology, errors do occur, and these are eagerly sought by collectors. The Lincoln penny series also reflects broader social and technological changes. The introduction of new alloys, the rise of automated vending and coin counting machines, the decline of the cent's purchasing power, and the ongoing debate about the future of the penny itself all intersect in the story of this humble coin over the course of more than a century. The Lincoln cent has weathered political debates, including calls for its elimination due to production costs, debates about its economic usefulness, and yet it endures as a symbol as well as a practical item in the pockets and drawers of millions. In discussing the 2007 Lincoln penny, we also need to understand its place within the collecting community. Lincoln cents are one of the most widely collected series in American numismatics, often serving as the gateway for young collectors who begin by filling coin folders and chasing mint marks. Many graduate to seeking high-grade examples, key dates, and rare varieties, such as the famous 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, or the 1922 plain cent. While the 2007 issue does not include rarities of that caliber, it does offer a fascinating window into the series as it stood on the eve of major change. We can also explore the cultural depictions of Lincoln and the penny from advertising to popular media. The image of the Lincoln cent has appeared in countless films, books, and artworks symbolizing thrift, common sense, and national identity. Its small size belies its large cultural impact, and this dual nature, as both humble object and national symbol, makes it endlessly fascinating. The process of designing, maintaining, and updating coinage is itself an intricate dance, involving artists, engravers, legislators, and public feedback. Each change to the Lincoln cent has involved careful consideration, balancing tradition with innovation, and the 2007 penny stands as a testament to the enduring popularity of the design at a time when the mint was preparing for a major anniversary celebration. To bring this story full circle, we can also look at the international context. Comparing the Lincoln cent with small denomination coins from around the world, many countries have phased out low-value coins, while the United States continues to produce billions of pennies each year, raising ongoing questions about cost efficiency, metal use, and consumer habits. Yet for collectors and historians, each penny carries a story, and the 2007 Lincoln penny is no exception. So whether you are a casual collector, a seasoned numismatist, or simply curious about the change in your pocket, there is always more to discover, from the rich history of design and production to the nuances of varieties and minting errors, from the cultural symbolism to the ongoing debates about its future. The 2007 Lincoln penny offers a wealth of stories, insights, and connections that stretch across time and space, and I invite you to join me on this deep dive journey as we unpack every layer of this remarkable little coin and trace its place within the grand tapestry of American numismatic history. We begin by setting the stage with the broader history of the penny coin, which traces its roots back over 1,000 years to medieval England, when silver pennies were first introduced under the reign of King Offa of Mercia. During the 8th century, these coins were the backbone of the early English monetary system, and through the centuries the penny evolved from silver to copper to bronze, and eventually to copper-plated steel, reflecting the changing economic realities and metal supplies of each era. As we fast forward through history, we witness key moments such as the reign of Queen Victoria, when the British penny featured her portrait in a young bust that became iconic across the empire, followed by changes in design under successive monarchs such as Edward VII, George V, George VI, and Elizabeth II. Each of these reigns brought subtle or major modifications in the coin's appearance, including shifts in lettering, portrait styles, and edge details. The penny's material composition also shifted over time. For example, in the early 20th century, the coin was made from bronze. But due to wartime metal shortages, adjustments had to be made which set the stage for further experimentation with cheaper materials in later years. Moving into the modern era, the 2015 one-penny coin belongs to the family of decimal coins, first introduced in the United Kingdom in 1971 when Britain transitioned from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to the decimal system, simplifying transactions and bringing the UK in line with international currency standards. The one-penny coin under this system maintained a vital role in everyday commerce, and despite its low face value, it remained essential for small purchases, change-making, and even cultural practices such as penny charity collections and superstitions like throwing pennies into fountains for luck. The 2015 penny features a copper-plated steel composition, giving it a distinctive reddish sheen when newly minted, though over time these coins darken through oxidation, and handling the obverse side features the fifth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by the sculptor Jody Clark. This design replaced the previous portrait by Ian Rank Broadley and marked an important milestone as Clark became the youngest artist to design a definitive coinage portrait of the Queen. The obverse side shows her crowned and facing right with an elegant balance of realism and stylization, reflecting both her age and her enduring status as monarch. On the reverse, we see part of the royal shield, a modern design introduced in 2008 as part of a complete redesign of British coinage. The one penny specifically displays the lower left section of the shield, which when combined with other denominations forms the full image. This shield design replaced the earlier depiction of a crowned portcullis, a heraldic gate symbol associated with the Palace of Westminster. The shift to the royal shield design was meant to refresh the visual language of UK coins, making them more cohesive, modern, and appealing to the public, while still grounded in historical symbolism. The minting of the 2015 penny took place at the Royal Mint, a historic institution that has been producing coins for over 1,100 years, starting from the Tower of London and later moving to its state-of-the-art facility in Llantrisant, Wales, where cutting-edge machinery mints millions of coins each year. The minting process involves creating master tools known as dies, which are precision engraved with the coin's designs. These dies then strike blank metal discs under immense pressure to produce sharp, detailed images and text on both sides of the coin before undergoing rigorous quality checks and packaging for distribution to banks and businesses. One fascinating aspect of the 2015 penny is the sheer scale of its production, with hundreds of millions of pennies struck each year to meet the demands of commerce. Yet despite these vast numbers, collectors and numismatists pay close attention to small variations, such as minting errors, die cracks, off-center strikes, and other anomalies that can make a specific penny far more valuable than its face value. Collectors also value the condition of the coin, graded on a scale from circulated to uncirculated to proof condition, with proof coins being specially struck for collectors using polished dies and planchets to produce mirror-like surfaces and sharper details. Beyond the physical characteristics and production history, The 2015 penny also sits within a cultural and economic context reflecting debates about the usefulness of low-denomination coins in a modern cashless society. Many economists argue that the cost of producing and distributing pennies exceeds their economic utility, leading to calls for their elimination as seen in other countries like Canada, which phased out its penny in 2012. However, public attachment to the penny remains strong in the UK, where it carries nostalgic value and symbolic meaning for many people. The 2015 penny also participates in centuries-old traditions, such as the saying, "Find a penny, pick it up all day long. You'll have good luck." The idea of lucky pennies is deeply rooted in folklore, where coins are seen as talismans for fortune, and protection pennies are also used in wedding customs, where brides place a penny in their shoe for good luck, and in children's games and rhymes that have been passed down through generations. From a global perspective, the penny connects the UK to an international network of coinage practices, reflecting shared histories of colonization, trade, and economic development. British pennies circulated far beyond the British Isles, especially during the height of the British Empire, and many former colonies developed their own local coinage, inspired by British designs. The study of pennies thus opens a window into broader narratives of imperialism, globalization, and cultural exchange. Looking ahead, the future of the penny remains uncertain, with ongoing discussions about the practicality of continuing its production in an increasingly digital economy. Nevertheless, coins like the 2015 penny will endure as historical artifacts, preserving snapshots of a nation's art, politics, and identity at a specific moment in time. Collectors, historians, and enthusiasts will continue to study and treasure these small but meaningful objects, ensuring that their stories live on for generations to come. In conclusion, the 2015 one-penny coin may appear humble in size and value, but its history is anything but small, encompassing centuries of monetary evolution, artistic expression, technological advancement, cultural tradition, and economic debate. By exploring every facet of this coin, we uncover the deep layers of meaning embedded in even the simplest objects, reminding us that history is all around us, waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places. So join me as we continue this journey through the rich world of rare coins, where every piece tells a story and every story brings us closer to understanding our shared past and present. Thank you for watching, and welcome back to Rare Coins, One Penny 2015 coins. Start by understanding the origins of the Lincoln penny itself, a coin first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The Lincoln cent marked the very first time in American history that a president's portrait appeared on a circulating coin, and it broke away from the traditional designs of Lady Liberty that had dominated U.S. coinage for over a century. The obverse of the coin has always displayed the familiar profile of President Lincoln, based on a photograph taken by Anthony Berger in 1864. While the reverse side of the penny has seen several design changes over the decades, beginning with the iconic wheat ears design from 1909 to 1958, followed by the Lincoln Memorial design that was introduced in 1959 and remained in place through 2008. Our focus today, the 1998 Lincoln penny, belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series, a series that was born in celebration of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and features the Lincoln Memorial Building on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. At the time, the memorial design included remarkable details, such as the faint image of the seated Lincoln statue visible through the columns, symbolizing Lincoln's lasting presence. By 1998, the Lincoln penny had become an everyday piece of American life, but there are several fascinating aspects of that year's production worth diving into, beginning with the composition of the coin itself. In 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from the traditional copper alloy cent to a copper-plated zinc cent, in an effort to reduce production costs. So the 1998 penny is made primarily of zinc with a thin layer of copper, making it visually identical to earlier coins but distinct in composition. At the Philadelphia Mint in 1998, over 5 billion pennies were struck, while the Denver Mint contributed another 5 billion plus coins. This massive production reflects the incredible demand for pennies in circulation at the time, but despite these high mintage numbers, not all pennies are created. Equal collectors are particularly interested in coins with mint errors, high grades, and specific die varieties. Some notable errors found among 1998 Lincoln pennies include double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled on the coin. These can affect the obverse with doubling visible in the inscriptions or on Lincoln's profile, or they can affect the reverse with doubling on the Lincoln Memorial, or lettering. Such errors are rare and command premium prices on the collector market. Another interesting feature of the 1998 penny is its role in the transitional phase of U.S. coin design, as the Mint prepared to introduce the 50-state quarters program in 1999 and began experimenting with new technology and design approaches. While the penny remained unchanged during this period, it serves as a time capsule representing the last years before major changes swept through American coinage. The economic context of 1998 also played a role in the penny's history. During this time, the U.S. economy was experiencing growth marked by the tech boom and rising consumer confidence. Yet the penny's value in commerce was increasingly questioned due to inflation. Many economists debated whether the cent should be retired altogether, as its purchasing power had declined dramatically since its creation in the early 20th century. From a collecting perspective, the 1998 penny offers multiple layers of interest, not only as a representative of the Lincoln Memorial design series, but also as a zinc-based cent, a type of coin that presents unique challenges for preservation. Zinc cents are known for developing bubbles or corrosion under the copper plating, especially if stored improperly, making high-grade examples particularly desirable among collectors. Grading the 1998 penny follows the standard Sheldon scale used by numismatists. Coins are evaluated from poor at the bottom to mint state at the top, with the highest uncirculated grades reserved for coins showing no wear. Under magnification, collectors also look for full red examples, meaning the original reddish copper color remains intact without turning brown, which is common as copper oxidizes over time. Proof versions of the 1998 penny were struck at the San Francisco Mint, bearing the S Mint mark. These coins were made specifically for collectors using polished dies and special striking techniques to achieve sharp details and mirror-like fields. Proof pennies are packaged in sets and never intended for general circulation, making them a distinct category within the 1998 production. Turning to the cultural meaning of the Lincoln penny, the coin has long served as a symbol of American values, perseverance, honesty, and the enduring legacy of a president who guided the nation through its greatest crisis, the Civil War. Lincoln's image on the penny is more than just decoration. It is a reminder of the ideals he stood for and the sacrifices made to preserve the Union. In the realm of coin collecting, the penny often serves as the entry point for new collectors due to its accessibility and rich history. Many lifelong numismatists began their journey by sorting through jars of Lincoln cents, looking for wheatbacks or rare dates, and the 1998 penny continues to play a role in this tradition, offering young collectors a piece of history they can hold in their hands. If we zoom out to the larger timeline, the 1998 penny represents the tail end of a nearly 50-year design era, soon to be replaced in 2009 by the Lincoln Bicentennial cents, which introduced 4 new reverse designs to celebrate Lincoln's 200th birthday, and then the Union Shield design, which has graced the penny's reverse since 2010. Thus, the 1998 cent stands as one of the last representatives of the classic memorial era. We can also explore the role of the U.S. Mint during this time, operating multiple facilities across the country, each with its own history and production focus. The Philadelphia Mint, where the majority of 1998 pennies were struck, is the oldest operating mint facility in the United States, while the Denver Mint, which produced the D Mint Mark pennies, has long served as a major coin production site. The San Francisco Mint, known primarily for proof coinage, carries on a tradition of craftsmanship and precision. Collectors interested in 1998 pennies should be aware of the variety of storage and display options available, from traditional coin albums and folders to protective holders and slabs used by third-party grading companies. Proper storage is crucial, particularly for zinc-based cents, which can suffer from environmental damage more readily than their earlier copper-based counterparts. The market value of a 1998 penny varies greatly depending on condition. Rarity and demand circulated examples carry only face value, but high-grade uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS67 or above, can command solid premiums. Errors and varieties can drive prices even higher, especially if they are rare or dramatic. Finally, the 1998 Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it is a small metal witness to the larger story of American history, economics, design, and cultural identity. Through its modest face value, it connects generations, reminding us of the past, even as we move forward in a digital age where physical currency is increasingly rare. So whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, the 1998 Lincoln penny offers a fascinating journey through history, and collecting one that could easily fill hours of exploration, discussion, and discovery. Thank you for joining me today on this deep dive into the world of the 1998 Lincoln penny. Stay tuned for more incredible stories about rare coins history and the treasures waiting to be found right in your pocket.